Hello and welcome to the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you live a happier, healthier, and stronger life. Building a life that you love starts with you owning your health and intentionally creating the best version of yourself. So if you're looking to better understand how proper nutrition, daily movement, mindset work, and strength training can help you create a life full of happiness and health, then you are in the right place. I generally hope that the tips, tricks, and information that we share will be the catalyst for change. I'm your host, Adam Lane. It's time to dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. I'm your host, Adam Lane. With me today, Mr. Tim Gilbertson.
Thank you, sir.
Tim, thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure.
I'm glad we were able to time this out.
Finally got together.
Look at this. What else would you want to be doing on a Sunday night?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. Nothing but this podcast.
Nothing but this podcast
Yes.
right now. Yeah.
Check that off your bucket list. You've arrived.
Well, I've never done one, so this is it.
This is it.
You're doing it.
This might be the pinnacle of everything. It might be downhill after this. Tim, for the tens of people that listen to the show who might not know who you are and why you're such a big deal, tell these people who you are and why you're such a big deal.
Well, I'm Tim Gilbertson. I run a couple different, I run Rucking Club.
Many things. Yes.
I mean, where do you want to start?
Yeah.
I run the Missy Man Ruckers.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Mark do that pretty regularly, where we have a group here in Rockford, and we all meet on the weekends or during the week and do anywhere from I like to say we do 2-3 milers, but I mean we do a lot of rucking around Rock Cut, 5 milers around the lake and different things like that. We also get a little bit crazier into doing the 30, 40, 62 mile rucks and things like that.
There's a lot of people that just shut down the podcast.
I know. They were like, what did he just say? I'm out. Let me repeat. You do not have to do the 62, 40, 30. But that group is great, though, because it's just this melting pot of people that come.
Yeah.
And it's like
it is a melting pot.
Everybody shows up and has different goals. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got different things going on, and we get on a trail and start walking and talking and working out, and you don't even know you are. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of more of the beauty of the ruck that I like is that you're hanging out with friends, you're walking and doing out in nature, and you're not in a, no offense to the gym.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm with you.
You're not in the gym and, and still getting a good workout in.
Yeah.
I also run the Warrior Foundation, which is a non-for-profit. We do raise money for the local cancer families, childhood cancer families here in Rockford, and the local surrounding area. We've done the Warrior 62 for 2 years, which is a 62-mile ruck from Madison to Freeport, Illinois. And then this last year, we just did the Warrior Crucible. Still, you do not need to do all this.
Yeah.
But we raise, each year we raise about $6,000 and all the money kind of leading up to when we were owned non-for-profit, it was going to K Cancer Baseball, because their mission here is really kind of what inspired us was taking care of the kids and families. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be around next year as well, the Warrior Crucible. So we do that.
Labor Day weekend?
Yep, Labor Day weekend. Yep. It's always, this year we just did it at Peak. Peak Sports Club sponsored us and gave us the plot of land to do it, which was awesome. It's
pretty sweet.
Dude. It's like we were struggling with finding a location, and to the point where like my committee, we were all like arguing, like, where are we going to do this, Tim? We need to okay, we have to find a place.
Yeah.
And finally we were just blessed, and it was like, got a phone call. The mayor of Loves Park called, over to Peak and was like, hey, we're looking to get this guy some, and Tony opened it up, and it was great. So big supporters. So it'll be at Peak Sports Club, hopefully every year. Yeah.
It's right off the bike path and right into Rock Cut. And then,
we had a great time, man. We did a 30-mile overnighter, which you were there for part of that one.
Part of that.
You would have done all of it.
I
would have to get out of there.
Yes. Not for my 11-year-old.
That was your son.
Yeah. I totally blamed him. He didn't want to do 30. 10. Come on. Jeez.
Next year. Next increments.
Exactly. We'll bounce it up.
That's right. So that's we're trying to get more 5Kers out into doing it. We had 34 5K just 5K people come out for the Saturday part of the event.
Yeah.
And then the last part of the event was the basic, and that was the pinnacle to bring us around to the end, right?
Which I totally thought, I didn't know. I mean, and maybe this is my own mental mind just making things up. When I saw basic, I'm like, oh, they're going to do some sandbag work for an hour or so and wrap it up, and they'll be done by 10:30. I'm like, oh, well, great. And then I wander out there, maybe 11, let's see what out there. Wander out there and I'm like, you guys are still going, huh? What are you doing for 6 hours of PT work?
With sandbags.
Like, oh, a lot of people would eat in there, bro. You guys like, have lunch, guys.
Just take a break for a second. Tim said 30 minutes. We're back at it.
So now I learned what basic training means. It's okay.
Well, that falls into the Go Ruck kind of breakdown of their events, where they have the basic and then the tough and then the heavy. Yeah. And so the basic is like the easiest one. Yeah. Air quotes if you're listening. Easiest one. So that's what we were like, oh, the warrior basic. Yeah. Perfect. But yeah, we had to, there was a couple people that were signing up, and then they were like, what exactly? I mean, I can walk for 5 miles, 6 miles. I'm like, yeah, but we're going to be doing 60, 80 pound sandbags on your back. You're going to be we stopped and did the warrior workout of the day. We stopped, and Glenn did a great job actually running the event. Yeah. For that part of the basic. And he runs the 630 Ruckers out in Naperville. Okay. And I asked him to do it. He's a Marine vet, and it's just right up his alley. The guy just had a hip replacement. I'm sorry. He just had a hip replacement like 6 weeks before the event, and he's out there, and he's like, I'll be there. And I'm like, look, we can alter the path. We can change. He went out and rode a bike for his group for like 2 weeks because he was training some people to go do a heavy out in New York for the New York City 9/11. And he was riding a bike like Rocky, behind him, or like what was the coach's name? The old guy. Oh gosh. Damn it. Yes. Yeah. Mickey. Yes. Gosh. God. There you go. Pulling it out. But yeah, I was gonna have to Google it if we didn't. We got to figure this one out. Yeah. But yeah, so he's out riding his bike behind him. So I was like, we could even figure out. I mean, most of it's on the path. Mm-hmm. You can ride your bike. He's like, I'm not riding my bike. I'm like, all right, Glenn, we're good, dude. But he did. It was only a hip, Yeah, it was only a hip replacement. Hips are easy. By 2 weeks, he was ready to rock and roll. I was like, you need to slow down a little bit. And, but there was a point in one of the stops where he made a speech about, like sharing the family burden of like the childhood cancer. And so he made us switch rucks. He's like, so now how much does your buddy bring with, and how much do you have? And you got to carry his burden, and he's going to carry yours. Yeah. And so we did that but it was like, just that little thing that he just threw in there was just like, nice job. Yeah. Glenn. Cheers, man. That was a good touch. So he did an amazing job running the basic, but it wasn't very basic. Yeah. Although we did stop for ice cream. Deserving ice cream. It was part of the deal. They were like, can we please just stop and get ice cream if we go around Rock Cut right there? So we're all sitting there from up all night, just stinking and sweating. Where'd you get ice cream? Where at? Right at the where the boat dock is. Oh, gotcha. In the park. Yeah, gotcha. Park, okay. Yeah. So we're all walking in there. We got bags, dropping them, and then we're grabbing ice cream, sitting down. Just best tasting ice cream ever. Oh, it was the best. Yep. But yeah, so the basic, we had to have a couple people where it was like, it's probably not like just going to be a little walk. But all the events together, I kind of wanted to culminate them to kind of still give the sense of like, hey, this isn't 62 miles where we're suffering, but it still should hurt a little bit to kind of make the event, have its, I don't know, the essence of it to where, you're going to suffer, you're going to feel a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of sadistically like, kind of like what the families are going through. You kind of make it, your mind's going to mess with you. Your body's going to mess with you. Your heart's going to mess with you. You're going to want to quit, and you just got to go. I can't. Yeah.
because your connection to this was one of your children.
Yeah.
Diagnosed with leukemia.
Leukemia. Yep.
ALL?
ALL.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So my son, Joey, he had leukemia, diagnosed at 7, went through 3.5 years of chemo and, epidurals in the back and getting all that chemo through the IV. And, luckily, we're on the winning side and, he's 18 now. He's in college, getting straight A's, kicking ass. That's like, dude, you're doing great. Yeah. But yeah, it was a rough 3.5 years, and kid cancer was there for us within our family. And that's where you just realize that, I'm an orthopedic PA. I work, at Ortho Illinois, and I make a pretty decent living. But you look at like what it takes to put a kid through that treatment, and you go, wow. Like it's a lot of money. Yeah. It's a lot of resources. It's people that got to come and help take care of your other kiddos, because you got to take one to the hospital, and or hey, it's 2 a.m. and Joey's got a fever, and we got to have him at Madison in an hour to have an IV of Rocephin, or an antibiotic before he gets septic. And you're like, so it's just different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our kind of connection to it was Joey.
Yeah. We were just up in Madison today, and my sister had leukemia when she was 11. She was in 6th grade. And came out on the winning side. And so I was a freshman in high school when she got diagnosed. So by the time my senior year, she was kind of cleared. I forget when remission day is. I should know that. She knows it. We celebrate every year. But yes, it's amazing how my mom, as a teacher, she ran through all of her sick days that she had stored up through the years. There were mornings we'd wake up, and Aunt Joan was at the house because, Dad had to go to work and Mom had to take Erica because something happened of, something. Grandma and Grandpa Tira moved in with us for a period of time because they were spending a ton of time in Madison, and this is the 90s. But yeah, it's amazing what it takes. And Mom made me watch one epidural, and that I still can't get it out of my mind because she's screaming. Yeah. She can't feel it, but she feels it.
Yeah.
But she's getting tapped like a sap tree, and just trying to drain out the little, spinal fluid. Yeah. And holy cow, that was not still whatever this is now 30 years later. It's still like, oh gosh, dude, please don't make me do this again.
When it's your own, and
oh gosh, it's probably worse. Oh
no, even your sister, my son, it's just like there's a poor nurse up in if you're watching this, but there's a poor nurse up at UW Kids when I took Joey up one night for that reason, a fever, and to get IV started, and got to go, and they accessed his port, his chest, and that nurse came in, and she was like, you can feel it. You can feel where the disc is at, and where the center little spot is where you're supposed to put this thing, and she was like digging around, and I was like. And he's squirming, and I was like, you need to get that out of his chest. Yeah. Like I'm going to come unglued. Like, cause you obviously don't know what you're doing. I was like, I was livid because I'm also medical. So I kind of already know like, you are not stabbing him in the right spot. And the doctor came in and I looked at him and I'm holding Joey and I was like, you're not touching him either. Yeah. I was like, you're bringing a nurse down from the ICU that deals with kids and ports all the time because my kid's got to get his antibiotic in the next 10 minutes. Yeah. That's how fast I trooped to Madison. I was like, I still got 10 minutes. And so one nurse came down and sweet as could be, hi, Joey. Right in. I was like, thank you. Thank you. That's how it's supposed to be. But that one nurse, it wasn't as nice. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember I don't know if they mishooked something up with Erica with her port, but something came out of it and like burnt her. Yeah. Whatever chemo thing was getting pumped in. This is again 30 years ago, and I'm not a medical guy, but
skin got.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Oy.
Yeah.
Oy. Anyway, let's go back to rucking here.
Rucking.
So you were rucking before it was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was rucking before it was cool for sure. Not as much as other services, being in the Air Force, we didn't ruck as much as like of Army or Marines, they're all like, don't say that, Tim. Like, but no, but we definitely got our share, basic, you had to ruck around with your damn bags on. Nowadays they do like an overnight thing down for, basic training for the Air Force where they send them out in like the woods, or like they do like a, how do they call it? Like combat week or something.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for workouts though,
small adjustment, we're good.
But for workouts though, even though I wasn't in like, the special forces or the fields that were doing it all the time, it was still beneficial where I'd buy bag after bag and I would put weight in it, sandbags, go out and just rock around the base and mostly got it from the people that were doing it for that elite level, that higher level of fitness, and not so much of just, I'm in the gym pounding weights and I look great and I'm drinking my pre-workout creatine that makes me feel like I'm,
the beta-alanine tingling all over the place. Do not like that lift feeling.
Anything. I don't like it. But I just enjoy being outside. And then, I took it, probably out in Colorado, got a little more into it, when I was out there around Pikes Peak. And then, when I came back home, that's when, Joey was diagnosed, with cancer, and we went through all that. And then I started getting back into my fitness and everything afterwards. So it's been probably about, almost lost my coffee. Probably about 6-7 years now where I've been back at it pretty consistently. Where, I mean, probably 5 years ago, I was doing like 3-4 days a week. I was averaging 20 to 30 miles a week in rucking, just out in the woods, rock cut, just getting the workout in, using the bag to work out when you're out. Rock cut, I'd hang from the rafters and I'd be doing my pull-ups and stuff I love functional fitness. That's I think my key is that as long as like with work and everything I do, workout wise, lifting the gym, having a blend of strength built with, like you said, conditioning. Rucking's so good for, like you said, that zone 2. That when I look back at my Garmin and I'm like, oh my God, I was just in zone 2 for like 5 hours, and you think about that, but you don't feel like you're really cranking, but because you're talking and you're just hanging out with friends and doing the thing. But especially like those 30-40 milers where you're like, I mean, your heart's working all night long,
What, so now, how many days a week are we rucking?
Right now it's 2 days. I do 2 days a week just because of how busy life is right now. I get in on the weekends. Mark and I usually get out and get a good one in. And then usually during the week, I'll get one in. I am doing more with strength. I do 2 days a week with strength. So 2 strength, 2 ruck.
It's pretty balanced right there.
I think so. And coming back to where I was doing like 5 to 6 days a week, and that was with rucking and strength and trying to do both. And I was just exhausted. And so the 2 and 2 has been pretty good.
That's how I was when I first started. Like, I really like this. And then I would do it all the time. Take the dogs for, grab the ruck, take the wife for a while, grab the ruck, grab the ruck, and then just wiped out. Like, I could lay down right here and take a nap. Like, so easy to overdo, because it's not that, I don't want to say it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
It's not. And that's the beauty, is it, unless you're throwing on like 60 pounds. I mean, if you're packing your bag, typically with like my 30-pound plate that I put back there with water, food, first aid kit, stuff like that, I'm usually around 40, 41 pounds. And then as you're going, you're losing weight because you're eating, drinking, and doing all that. But even at those 20, 30-pound weights, you don't really feel like you're carrying a ton once you get going and doing it. Hill work, I love to do hills. I learned, I can't remember which guy it was I was listening to. He was talking about doing the benefit of doing pulls with the sled to strengthen the back of your knee.
Yep.
And
is that the Ben Patrick knees over toes?
Yeah, that
thing?
might. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so I saw like, well, I'm just going to start walking backwards up hills.
Yeah.
And so we're all one with my ruck on.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and I was like, wow, my knees, after about a month of doing it, that, it gives you a different view, and, you get to do something different. But yeah, it really helped build up the back.
Weird guy walking up the hill backwards. What is
dumbass?
What is he doing?
This guy at Rock Cut, all the times I'd have my vest on in my bag, and it was like equal to 65 pounds. And that's the addictive part of it, is that you start going, oh, well, I can do my miles in less than 15-minute miles. And then I'm going to add on my vest, I can still do that. And so this guy would always see me out at Rock Cut running, and he asked me one day how much I had on. I was 65 pounds, and he's like, God, that'd kill me. But every time now I go 65, like, yeah, I'm an idiot, shuffling, doing 65 pounds. But it is, once you start to see the benefits, I think, of it, and that my injuries.
Yeah. Kind of woody. Yeah.
Have been pretty much nil. I mean, I pulled my soleus one time. I whaled my knee on which I shouldn't have been out doing the Tough Mudder, going up the warped wall.
Oh, yeah.
I hit my knee on that, and I probably shouldn't have ever been doing that anyway. But as far as like rucking, man, I've rolled my ankle so far when I ruck, or like twisted my knee when I stump or something. And I'm like, I think any other person probably would have just lost their whole ankle and ligaments and everything on that. And it just,
they have to call it Boutros when there's knee replacements.
That's right. Yep, absolutely. So it's like, but injuries have been pretty low too. Yeah. With staying conditioned, carrying the weight, core, it's a full body workout. Yeah.
Yeah. When people, because it is what word did you use before? Melting pot.
Yeah.
Of people that, and through my experience with the Missy Mac, and I could, that's it. Like, it's tall, short, in shape, less in shape, older, younger.
Yep.
We've kids, older, like it's everybody.
It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
The people that start, what's your recommendation? Which I think is cool, because not only you're a little bit psychotic with loving rucking and pushing yourself, but also a PA, like you're in the medical field.
Yeah.
And like you see, and you replace hips and knees. Like this is like, a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, that would kill me. My knees would explode, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's actually what you do on a daily basis. What's smart recommendations for people if they're listening to this going like, oh, I have a bag. We've talked about rucking before. You don't need to go out and buy the $300 Go Ruck bag. Nope. And you can get your Jan Sport from high school, and put a dumbbell in the back or, whatever weight you have lying around the house. And, it can be 5 pounds, it can be 10 pounds, and walk around your block and start there. But what's in the way of people getting going? What's recommendation? What do you think?
I say, like, if someone came and they're like, hey, I'm just starting back up, getting going, I would honestly tell them to put 2 bottles of water in there, some snacks, and just come out and just start walking.
Food. People won't even know that you don't have weight back there.
No, it's weight, man. Like, this is just, you just tell me to bring my water. Well, I'm going to put my water bottle in there anyway. Yeah. Well, it's weight. Like, you don't realize that they're carrying something. And then if someone's been working out a little bit more than 10 pounds is usually where I would say for people to start. Yeah. 10 pounds is a good weight where it's pulling on you enough to where you're feeling that a little extra weight. We always say in surgery and kind of in the orthopedic field is like, for every pound that you add on to your weight, meaning like body weight, it translates to 5 pounds to your knees. So it's multiplying, stresses through your knees and everything else. So you want to kind of start a little lower so you don't tear something or, but even that little extra 5 pounds is like really 50 pounds to your knees. And when you'll feel that at the end of the day, or the next day. But yeah, probably 10 pounds, either food or water, snacks. I actually started, I went down to the store and I just bought sandbag, like the rolls. And then I got trash bags, like the big thick ones, poured, 5-10 pounds in there, rolled it up and then duct taped it.
Okay. And there you go. There's a sandbag.
You got it.
Didn't have to go ruck.
Throw it in your bag. and I made my own that, that I carried and stuff like that too. And you want to try to keep the weight as close to your back as possible. So you're having like the dumbbell just kind of sits on your lower, sacrum and then just kind of smashes
jabs you in the kidney. Yeah.
I actually found on Amazon, if you're really interested in it, that you don't have to buy the super expensive weights at Amazon. You can go on there. I bought a 30-pound weight for $36.
Oh.
So it's got the handle and all the cool stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have lower increments of weights there too.
Yeah.
But distance wise, I'd say like a good 2 miles, for somebody, get out and just try to walk 2 miles.
Yeah. 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. At, 20-minute per mile pace.
Yeah.
You don't need to be cranking along at 15-minute per mile.
Yeah.
That's as you get a little bit more advanced and you want to come out and be a little, but 20-minute mile pace should be sustainable.
Yeah.
It's 3 miles per hour.
Yeah.
But 2 miles and then just every month, maybe add a little more, see how you feel. But I love it. And that's why you just kind of keep adding on and you're like, wow, I just carried, there's one point at an event, I was carrying my backpack, which is about 40 pounds. And then I had it was supposed to be a 120-pound sandbag that they overfilled. It was probably like 130. So I was like a 170, carrying extra
shoulder
sandbag on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you had your backpack and then the sandbag and you're just doing
your head's all forward.
Oh yeah. You're all cranked down. And luckily at those events, and that's the beauty, like the Go Ruck events, is they're team events. No one's just trying to slaughter you individually, but so you do your quarter mile or half mile with that weight and then you take it off and feel like you can fly again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it pushes you to see what you can do.
Yeah. I've been pleasantly surprised. We live up in Rockton and we're not too far off that Honeyga bike path that runs all the way to the high school. And we see people walking dogs or running and And recently in the last, I'm going to say since the summer, we've seen more people walking with a backpack, on that, which I think is absolutely fantastic. From the medical side here, I'm just thinking my dad's 76, has had double knee replacement. In the way of the health benefit, the strength benefit that you have seen either in yourself or other people, because I think it's interesting. There's a combination here. There's a cardio piece, but then there's also a strength piece.
Yeah.
It's not just like going out and running.
Right.
Runners get hurt all the time.
Yeah. I do recommend it to the patients that I know that can, when they're active and they want to get back in, they're like, hey, I'm doing my biking, I'm doing some of this and, my swimming. And I'm like, well, how was rowing? Have you tried to get on the rower again? Because really in the joints lingo, what we say is that it's like anything that you push with your full leg when you get a knee replacement, we don't want you sitting and doing like leg extensions with heavy weight on your ankles and trying to crank on through the knee. So anything that you're pushing with the full leg or using your full extension is typically safe to do. Okay. So anybody a little more advanced will be like, hey, have you tried rowing? Yeah, or they say, oh, I'm going to try it and I'll come back. A lot of people that do go walk, I'm like, do you wear a backpack when you walk or do you carry it? I carry my water bottles. Like, well, just put a backpack on and just throw some weight, just see how you feel. Because I do recommend it to the people. I look at rucking like we were made to be hunters and gatherers and carrying weight and walking is like what makes us, I feel like, pretty solid as far as strength and conditioning. I don't think enough people, they look into like I got an elliptical, I'm going to sweat for 30 minutes. And it's like, okay, go look at your 200 calories and how hard you work for those 200 calories. And then come walk with me and I'll see how quickly we burn 200 calories. and how much more enjoyable maybe it was for you too. But to answer the question, I do recommend it. It's easy on the joints. As long as you're not being super aggressive with the weight and trying to be like me or somebody you're not supposed to do, but just keeping it light. And part of it is the bag too, where, you know, if you're going to get into the heavier weights, investing in a better pack would be better. But, you know, you could go do anything with some water bottles and things like that. But once you start getting into the heavier weight, you do want that back plate, something that gives your back some stability and a little more comfort. I think that's what drove me to mine first, was the comfort part.
Well, I had an old, well, not old, more of a hunting backpack that before I actually got the Go Ruck, that I would fill with random stuff. There were two 35-pound dumbbells in there at one point, and then a homemade sandbag. And really, I just went to the Menards, got the 50-pound bag of Sackcrete, and just taped it with duct tape so it didn't leak. And it, you know, hey, here's my, you know, 50. And I've used that thing so much, I can't even tell you. Like I'll whatever. If I don't actually ruck, like I'll just carry that, you know. And it's a pain in the butt to carry. Like it's oddly shaped and it's slippery and it's very dense. And so it'll go from one shoulder to the other shoulder to behind the neck to under one arm to under the, but never in one spot for that long of a time before, like it's slippery on the outside because the duct, it's not even the duct tape, it's the Gorilla tape, you know, it's all black and stuff. And then your hands get sweaty and it's so fantastic. I absolutely love it. But no, it's easy to, I was doing hills, whatever, half-mile down from where we live, and the neighbors out there going, what are you doing? Like, and I told him, and he's like, he went back inside the house, came back out, brought me a water. And he's like, I was a Marine, but I'm not doing this, you know? And it just, and again, you know, we tell these stories to laugh, but like people don't, if you're listening to this, you've never done something like this before. Like this is not, I mean, people can, and honestly, I just don't know. It's funny, when I coached track and field and cross country, athletes would get hurt all the time. It was, you know, stress fractures or shin splints or labrum tears or stuff. And a lot of it from the coaching side of things, like other coach, oh, that's just bad luck. Oh, bummer. You know, she got hurt. He got hurt. Oh, that's too bad. That just happens in running, you know, And I'm trying to think of, I can't think of anybody that I've been around ruck wise that has gotten hurt. Like I cannot, it's just a very safe thing to do. Like you said, we're kind of made to do this. Right. You hunt the animal, you kill the animal. Now you have to carry the animal. Like it's
drag it out.
Like there's, you know,
walking in terrain,
whether it be pulling it or, you know, throw it over the shoulder or whatever it is. So it's just, it's insanely safe. Because now we don't make recommendations for anybody to run. Not that it's a bad thing. Running is a great thing. But like, you kind of have to know how to run. Like there's form to, no different than lifting. There's form to lifting.
For sure.
You have to squat in this manner, you know, you should run in this manner. And I don't think there's anybody coaching anybody on actually how to pick them up and put them down. And then they end up hurting themselves. So it's funny when you take something like rucking, where like, typically you can walk with good form. Maybe, I don't know. They should, but you throw a little bit of resistance on there. Normally it's really, really safe. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have, like I said, from people from all takes of life coming out and rucking and different fitness levels. And we'd be out walking. Everyone walks different. Everyone looks different. Everyone's got different kind of bags. Everyone's got different kind of shoes. And it's just, everyone's just kind of got their own flow to it. And, but you know, Laura Britnell, she's a beast. She's 63 years old. 64. Hope I'm not wrong. But she did the Warriors.
Barely over 60.
Yeah, barely over 60. But she did the Warrior 62 with me both years. 62 years old. Went all the way down to Freeport. You know, and but it's, you know, you get to those levels, it's a little bit of digging deep and going. I know we're talking more of like starting things, but the point is that, you know, there's so many different people that could do it, and it's so easy to do that I think that it's overlooked by a lot of people as beneficial. Like you said, the running, people want to come in and run all the time. I'm like, why do you want to run?
No.
Like, well, I want to be in cardio. And it's like, I could list 4 other things right now that it would give you better cardio than running. But it's just such a beat into their head over time, social exercise, you know?
Yeah.
But rucking's great.
Yeah.
You know, there's a, there's a picture from the last event of all of us stepping out on the 30-mile overnighter. And, I'll have to find it and send it to you, but it's got like, it's almost like a Peanuts picture, you know, like a Charlie Brown in the distance. It's got like the, you know, like the sun, you know, setting, you know, like everything. And you see us all, and we all look different in all of our hats and different things, and everyone's walking different. But that's just kind of like, it's all right there in a nutshell is everyone was going out on, and that was the first 10-mile leg that we did, but you know, but it was all takers out there, and I think everybody did pretty well, and we had a good time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I really think it's interesting. Just again, you can Go Ruck has events like you said earlier, that I've never participated in. I don't know. I like sleep. I love rucking during the day. That's daylight hours are my ruck time. You know, but to do the, you know, the basic. Yeah. What's the second one? The tough and the heavy. And then I have a buddy up in Madison who 2 years has tried the selection. Thank you. Yeah. Has not made it. Dave's and it's tough. It's funny because Dave is the most put together athlete. Like if there's somebody that understands training and you know how to prepare for something like this, it's him. I think his issue is that he's 41, incredibly strong, fit, muscular. He might be too lean, and then when he gets in the cold, it just crushes him. I'm like, well, dude, eat a cheeseburger. You know, you might be a little better off, but you know, whatever. But like, again, there are, you know, I don't want people to look at rucking and be like, oh my gosh, this is such this crazy, insane thing that only Jocko does, you know, and these ex-military guys that are, you know, off the rocker to begin with. And like, no, this can be, you know, from a PA to people with knee and hip replacements. Hey, once you're feeling it, hey, go put a backpack on and walk around like you're going to high school algebra again. Yeah. And look at the benefit. Walking the dog mile down the street and back, put on your backpack, you know, just build a little strength and stability. Yeah. I'm all about it. Yeah. Love it. I think it's, well, and we said this before we hit record. My buddy Mike, who was up here, who moved down to Central Illinois, back home to where his family is. You know, there's no gym like we do up, you know, down there. So he's adapted that. And really that's, he'll go out for a mile walk at lunch. Yeah. He's got little kids in the morning, you know, getting kids to school, and he works, you know, insurance never sleeps. But he takes a lunch hour, and that's what he'll do. Throw on the backpack, and he's lost weight. He's feeling fantastic. As he's lost weight, he's put more weight in the pack. Dan John, do you know Dan John? He's big fitness guy, strength guy. He's written like 30 some odd books. Him and Pavel back in the day with some of their kettlebell stuff was really, really good. Dan wrote a book. I forgot what the book is called, but he talks about reverse rucking. So I told Mike about this, but it's the idea of if you're overweight, you weigh 250 pounds. If you drop 10 pounds, well, your body was used to carrying around 250, right? But now you're 240. Yeah. So now put 10 pounds in a pack and walk around. Yeah. Risk of injury is nothing. Nothing. Yeah. You lose another 10 pounds? Yep. Great. Put 20 pounds now in your pack. I agree with that. And walk around. Yeah. And I'd never heard that before, because every time I said reverse rucking, people think you walk backwards. But you obviously do that already, you know. Go back to the knees. Exactly. Which totally makes sense too, in the same breath. It's the same movement, really. Yeah. I mean, you're just not like pulling, but you are getting that same kind of hamstring work. And then you load it with the pack, which is probably even more, you know, efficient. Yeah. And I'm just, because I know he's feeling good. So I know he's getting the strength piece. Because, oh my gosh, I mean, the back workout that you get, you know, just keeping yourself, you know, in good posture. Yep. And that's another thing I love too. I think, I tried doing the weight vest thing. I always felt like the weight vest, like, made me shorter and just like, cause it was so balanced front to back. But when it's all posterior load, I feel like I hinge at the hips, I feel my glutes work. I feel my low back works. Like I feel it pulls my shoulders back because the straps, like I feel like I'm in decent position.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not exhausting after hours. Any final recommendations for people looking to, because I would love to see rucking just take over the world. Like it just, dial back to, when people were running and you saw, up and down. I would love to see, and especially people our age getting out there, running is a terrible idea for them.
Yep.
The idea of I love biking. Biking takes time and roads, and drivers are idiots. And like I used to do the triathlon thing pretty hot and heavy, but if I rode the same roads that I did, today that I did 20 years ago, like I'd be scared out of my mind. Like I used to hit Beloit Road and just but they were like, it wasn't that bad back in the day. And now it's just, there's just more traffic, more people, more, oh my gosh. Rucking seems to be something for me that is so easy that literally anybody can do it at any time. Take your dog out, take your kid out, go walk with your spouse, just throw it back on.
Right.
I don't care if it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes.
Yep.
Any final words of wisdom for somebody trying to start up? They're scared. They're worried.
I would say just do it. You just got to do it. It just, because that's, nobody can make anybody really do anything. Right. I think that if I were to give advice, I would say that, give it 6 weeks of it. You can do anything for, 6 weeks, I think, and then if you don't see a benefit there, then you go, okay, Tim and, Adam are full of it, about rucking. But
how many times a week am I rucking?
I would say 3 times a week if you're starting back up. If you're going to do the bottles of water or 10 pounds, 3 times a week, 2 miles, and then bump it up every 2-3 weeks until you get to your 6-week mark. Try to maybe get to where you can do 4 miles, 4 miles with, it's pretty good just starting out in a 6-week ramp up, but it's very doable. There's a lot of people that are real hesitant about doing it. I think that the big part about that freaks people out is that it's so military-esque, right? Yeah. It's so, they think of, and some of us are doing some of the dumb, more advanced stuff, but majority of people aren't. And that's where you got to kind of go, hey, just because Tim's got this Missy Man Ruckers and there's literally like 5 of us that go and do events together out of all of us. Yeah. You don't have to do that. Like no one else comes with us. They go, have fun, guys. We'll see you when you get back. Well, I'd love to hear all about that overnight in Fort Bragg for 24 hours that you did. Like, they just don't have interest, and that's okay. And there's never like looking down on anybody or going, you don't want to do events. Yeah. It's never that. Yeah. So I think that just confidence in knowing that we're all out there with same goal of trying to be healthy, have a good time doing it, and just give it an opportunity. Yeah. But that's what I would.
If people want more support, well, here, we're going into the winter here. Yeah. What's Missy Man doing in the winter?
We rock.
Same thing.
Yeah, I tell you.
Different season.
There's been, shit.
Losing the coffee.
Yeah, losing the coffee. Glad the lid's on.
Oh, there we go.
It's funny. When Mark first started coming out with me, it was kind of the same. It was like, what are we going to do in the wintertime? I was like, we rock. And I show up and I'm like, and I've got like my Under Armour and I've just got like this quarter zip, and he's got like this puffy jacket and like this hat and gloves. And I'm like, you're going to be hot in like 20 minutes, and as we're like walking, it's like hat shedding, jacket shedding. And now we go out and ruck in the winter. I mean, me and Mark did a overnight marathon and it was -20 out. Oh, jeez. And that was probably one of the dumbest things we've done. Because it was like, I couldn't feel my fingertips. We were sticking our hands in our groin, like trying to stay warm. Like it was like survival mode. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but we always say we're like, if we would have stopped, we probably would have died. Like it was just, like the wind and how cold it was. You just probably like we stopped for like we need a break, and we'd stop. We'd just sit there and go, we should just start walking again. We should just start walking, Mark. You know, it's like start going. There's like no breaks because it just froze. So not everybody's doing that either. No. But we can push you as far as you want to go. No. I can tell you that. I promise you that. You know, but like I said, don't be intimidated by the event or by what we're doing. We had a lot of folks that just show up and, you know, we sit and do our workouts, our push-ups, sit-ups, overheads, and they do some kind of a yoga or they do some kind of another strengthening while we're doing what we're doing with the bags. No. And it's great. And, you know, come and just do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You know, we're out at the lake and we're working out doing this, but you prefer to do this. And some people can't do full push-ups. And so we're like, throw your knees down. We don't care. Yeah. Like, you know what? Because we're out here at 8 a.m. and who else is out here doing this crap but us? Yeah. So you're out here doing it. So good on you. Do it however you want. Yeah. But yeah, I think we can make it as easy and as hard as you want. Yeah. You know, and I think that I like about it too. Yeah. So you can kind of tailor that.
Super scalable.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. What, your normal schedule, Wednesday, weekend, almost every week. Can I say that?
Yeah, usually every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Mark, he does a lot of the scheduling, but yeah, we've got some ones coming up for the holiday. I think we're doing one right after Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then we're doing one right before Christmas. It's like the Nightmare Before Christmas Ruck. Okay. It'll be on the Missing Man page on our Facebook. Mark will be posting them on there. Yeah. And come on out. He's got patches for everybody too that comes and does it. And so it makes it kind of fun. Yeah. Well, that's what makes it. That's what we say. We're the patch wars.
So if you ruck and you don't get a patch, did you actually ruck?
So he gives you the patch ahead of time. And if you don't complete it, you got to give it back just to bust your ego. He learned that from Glenn out in Naperville. You show up to Glenn's event and he gives you your patch and we're like, why are you giving this to us already? And he's like, because if you don't finish, I'm taking it back. It's like, thanks.
Now there's pressure.
That's right.
A ton of pressure.
That's right.
People want to find more about Missing Man. Where do they go?
Facebook is the easiest way to find us. We've got a group on there, Missing Man Ruckers. You just go on there and like it. There's a couple questions on there. Of course, you just got to.
Yeah. To get it, it's a group page, right? You got to get in the group.
Got to get in the group. But if you know somebody that's in there, then you automatically are enrolled. If we don't know anybody or it's not linked to somebody, then it asks you just a couple questions like, don't be belligerent and dumb and, an idiot. And we're on here to have a good time and, Yeah. But yeah, the Missing Man Ruckers page, there's also the Sandlot that Go Ruck puts out, that app. And we do post events on there too. But mostly the Facebook is where we kind of sit right now just because it's easy and accessible and everybody's got it.
It is pretty easy. Yeah. You can see all the events coming up and
yeah. I mean, Go Ruck really wanted us to start pushing the Sandlot app and we tried it. I gave it to Mark, man. He really gave it a go, but it's hard. It glitches and then their events don't show up and then this and that. And it's just like, and they wanted to get away from Facebook, but
yeah,
it's hard when you don't have another, avenue for people to get that information.
Yeah.
But there's also the Warrior Foundation non-for-profit page on Facebook that you can go on and like and follow us there. And it talks more about the foundation and kind of what our events are coming up and how to support if you'd like to and donate. And there'll be, this is the warrior62.com that we kind of go run off of too. And that has information and pictures from the previous year's events and then kind of what's coming up for next year. Next year, man, we're meeting already about the event and how to make it bigger and get more people involved in corporates and trying to really push it and make it the kind of event of the area. So 5Kers, get ready. We've got timing coming for everybody.
Ooh,
yeah. That was a thing that was a big thing at the event. I was like, hey, this is just a fun run, you know? And so I already had gone all night, 13 hours. And then I did the 5K and I'm out there talking and I'm like, we really don't have an official start. So we're just going to go to the sidewalk and everybody just start running. Well, apparently I offended like half the 5Kers that showed up for like an official like start and end point timed.
Trying to PR here.
Yeah. And so that was so we're trying to make that better. But so we've got a timing partner set up this year. It's going to be timed. It's going to be bibbed. Yeah. So it's official.
Man.
I know it's so the 5Kers, come on out. We've got it for you.
There we go.
Yeah. But we'll still do the 30-night overnighter, a 30-mile overnighter, and then the basic afterwards. The kids events are huge too.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I'd like to get more of a sign up for like kids to have their own little like basic maybe to do.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Just like set it up and they can do like wheelbarrow races or something, or just make something up where they can carry like sugar, just anything really, just.
We have some smaller sandbags too.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be.
Yeah, have a little kids event.
My kids would love that.
Yeah. Because then they're kind of still doing the same thing, whatever, dad and everybody are doing and mom's doing, but it's just a different scale.
Yeah.
But still get to see it and do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, I really appreciate all this. We'll link up all those things in the show notes and stuff.
Yeah.
If people are interested, I love all the options because again, I think rucking is insanely accessible for anyone. If you are part of me, I really like being a lone wolf because when I'm here, I am switched on and talking to people and kind of like the mayor. But when I leave, I'm like socially exhausted. So the idea of like, give me the woods by myself, and, or my dogs and, we're happy. But those times too, where you want a little bit of a push and you need the group, the missing man is perfect.
Yeah.
The Wednesday nights are great. The weekend stuff is great.
Yep.
I completely agree with you. Cause I've been part of rucks before where, people had stuff going on in the morning. They didn't have 4 hours to, so they did what they could, and they had to turn around after, however long, and make it back, and which is fine. People have stuff going on.
Yeah.
Some is better than none.
Yep. Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I think it's hilarious because it's not something I ever thought about. Nobody's posted what they're carrying. Like there's no ego thing with here outside of you. Hey, what do you got? You're like, it's just like, there's like that weird thing, and then if, Adam tells me he's got 50, oh crap.
Oh,
okay.
dude.
Give me another plate.
That's the thing. You never know how hard people, you're right. You never know how hard people are pushing themselves, because some people do show up with like 50, 60 pounds and you're like sitting there and you're like at your 40 and you're like, you're really pushing it. What are you doing? It's training, but everyone's talking and chatting and laughing and still having a good time doing it. And so but yeah, that's a great point. That everyone's kind of at a different level. But
you don't know.
You don't know it at all.
Yeah. Which I think is different than when the weight room, if everybody's squatting, you could tell like, oh, that guy's really strong. Like that person's a little less strong,
Yeah.
Rucking, no idea.
Yeah. But you're out there killing it. It's like that guy that called me out, 65 pounds. I could have told him, no, it's just 20, just like, that's just 20 pounds, but
130 in here. Yeah. Why?
Yeah. But it's
working hard.
I love, like you said, that the solitude of getting out in the woods and the fall time, the winter time, you get to enjoy we had one ruck where we went out. It was sunny and then it got a little rainy and then it started to snow. It was me, Mark, and Laura. And by the time we got out of Rock Cut, we were in like 3 inches of snow. We went through like every season out here on this quick little, ruck today.
In 2 hours.
But it was just crazy. But you just don't see that unless you're out doing it. And it's good for the mind. I think it's good for the mind to push and see what you can do a little bit and gives you that confidence to kind of go places you don't usually go.
Yeah. I think that nature thing is so big with people and so important, and we don't get enough of it. We're inside way too much.
Yeah.
And any excuse to get out. And I always when I triathloned, I always loved my run training done in the woods versus like on the track or on the road.
Oh yeah.
Even though I would do the tracker road stuff because most of the triathlon stuff was on the road, which was no fun. But like in the woods, not only did I have a shorter cadence because like there are roots and things and, you know, but like there's just something about, you know, being in the trees and it just,
yeah.
Same thing with rucking there.
Yeah. Like we were doing a ruck. We were training actually for one of our rucks, me, Mark, and Adam, and there were some ultra runners out on the trail, and they were like, and we're like, we did 30 miles that day, which is, you know, some distance for us, and so we're like going along, and runners are going by, and Adam's favorite thing is he's like, you're almost there, you know, and he's like, he said it to the wrong person. They ran by and he's like, you're so close. You're almost there. And he turned around and he goes, I got 75 miles left, you know, and he was doing 100 miles and the dude had already done a marathon basically. And he's like, I got 75 more miles, you know, and Adam was like, oh, good luck, dude. Like, but
I'll be thinking of you.
Yeah. But with the sadistic part of it is that being on that trail and rucking, and then you see all these people of different statures and backgrounds and ages, and they're doing ultra running too, Adam. Yeah. Like they're doing 100 miles. And I'm like, how are you doing 100 miles? Yeah. But it makes you sadistically go, I could probably get into that. Yeah. Right? In a sick way.
You'd have to carry something, though.
I'd have to carry something more than just my wad. I don't know. Gosh. But yeah, it's good for the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it again, if you similar, because we've had gym members who have done these ultra crazy things. You get out in nature, you get out with other people, talk to other people. Same thing with rucking.
Yeah.
Out in nature, talking to people, time will fly and you won't even like, oh, yeah, we're 8 miles in, you know, holy cow.
Right. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
When we're
Which
out,
makes it much more pleasurable than like, oh, I'm going out and doing a run by myself on pavement.
Yeah.
In the heat.
Listen to the same old playlist that I do every day because it's my workout list and, you know, go out and have a conversation with somebody actually. Yeah. It's something to that too.
Yeah, there is.
The human component.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. Tim, I appreciate your time.
Hey man. My pleasure.
I appreciate the ruck expertise with your job. It's not like you're just this crazy, I'm going to like, I don't care about my body. I'm going to kill it. No. Bring on every challenge. You see when people misuse their body. You see when people don't take care of themselves. Yeah. You know, and they have to replace the hip or replace the knee. Yep. They come to you hundreds of times in a year. Yeah. And, you know, you do these surgeries, you see what's, you know, and this is the dead opposite of that. These are people taking care of themselves, you know, pushing themselves, trying to be more healthy. And it's a beautiful thing.
But you also, just to add on to that real quick, is what you also see from those people and patients that have the hip and knee problems is the deconditioning because they're not walking. Yeah. They're not doing the stairs. They're not doing basic function of life. And it's like, that's where that strength is like, you could probably still get that if you just could do that, you know? And so, yeah, it's, just having that little bit of strength in there, maybe might just give them that little bit of quality life in there. Yeah. But
push off that replacement longer.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you send people to therapy and they do great and they come back and they're like, wow, just strengthening my quad on the inside here was amazing, you know, and you're like, see you whenever you need us. Yeah. You know, but strengthening the legs and the back and the core and stuff back up. It's surprising how much it really goes long distance. Yeah.
And again, how simple rucking is when it comes to, I just think
everybody walks.
Yeah. Everybody walks. All the barriers that people have. I can't tell you how many consults we've done and all the barriers and all the excuses and all the things that people come up with. I don't know how. I've never done this. I don't know when. I don't have the time. Rucking can be, again, yes. Do you need a little time? Yes. But like you could do it anytime, anywhere, with people, by yourself, in the woods, and then not in the woods. I feel like this is a Dr. Seuss book, you know, on a tree, over a tree.
Yeah, right. Hanging from the branches. You know, I mean, seriously though, it is that you travel, like put your clothes in your rucksack. And then when you get there, guess what? You've got weight because you brought stuff. Yeah. Like go for a walk. work out with it. It's just available.
Yeah.
You just need a sidewalk or a woods and some weight.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I row with my workouts. I don't bike really. Got a Peloton. I don't bike. I just don't. I hate it.
You hang your clothes on it.
It's so bad. I hate it. I hate sitting there and just on that uncomfortable seat and just pedaling. And I'm like, I would rather be out there, even if I'm just walking in the neighborhood to the next neighborhood and back in 2 miles. It's just, I'd rather do that than sit on a bike and
not go anywhere. Do all that work, and I'm still in the same spot.
Still here.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't go anywhere.
Yep.
Go Ruck, the official sponsor of the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. It's not true, Go Ruck. True. But if you're listening, we would accept some sponsorship.
We would accept it. I mean, we've talked about them enough, right?
Use the coupon code TIM35 to get something off at checkout.
Something off.
Tim, I'll let you get back to your Sunday.
But but we do get codes for events.
I'm making jokes. This is legit.
Now it's legit. Like, hey, let's talk about this for a second. 'Cause I don't want to get hate mail tomorrow. But they do from headquarters in Go Ruck. They give us events for the club where if you wanted to go and try like a basic, tough, or whatever, that we get a 30% off code usually. Okay. Yeah. That if you're part of the club, then you just send us a message and we get you set up with it. So
there we
otherwise, we're free.
See, you are a big deal. Jeez.
The more we talk, the more we'll figure that out. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Cool.
Tim, thanks again so much.
My pleasure, man.
Listeners, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Absolutely.
That's all we have for you today. If you have any questions or want to chat or interested in seeing what we're up to in between episodes, head over to Instagram and Facebook and follow @OakStrength. Also check us out at oakstrength.com. If you like this episode, please share it with someone who wants to live happy, healthy, and strong. If you really liked it, subscribe and review the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast on iTunes or Spotify. Be sure to tune back in next week and remember to keep owning your health.